You don't have accidental experiences. Nothing in your life has ever been accidental. Now, you may have experiences that you don't understand, or you may experience things in the world that you don't understand, but none of them are accidental. It is just that we have yet to understand what is occurring, and that is always within us. And that is the journey that we move on individually and also collectively in our world to come to understand more things. And I've often talked about that I receive information precognitively, meaning before it shows up. And that has been the challenge for me to accept, just like there have been many things about you that you have not accepted. Because if you had, then you would have everything you wanted in your life. You would be doing something really wonderful. You would have all of that worked out. But we have to move through a journey, and that journey is our individual ascension or self-actualization or whatever you call it. But is that's what we have. And we do that with our consciousness. No one does it any differently. And so I can say to you that the only reason that you may be in difficult situations or having experiences you don't understand, it's just part of your evolutionary path. But then when you figure them out, then you start to move in a whole new direction. And then you understand that nothing is happening accidentally. It's just that you have to be willing to do that one thing that we don't like doing, and that's self-examination. We don't like looking at ourselves, and so that becomes a little uncomfortable. And so then it becomes easier to say that everything is happening accidentally, and it isn't. And I'm going to read you a message because what happens is there's synchronicity, and I've spoken about this before. I use Carl Jung. I put an article out, and you can find these on my website, rogerburnley.com. If you were to read all the articles, you would understand what I'm saying. But I said I might be channeling Carl Jung because I understood all of his information, even though I had not studied him. But then I started to see the synchronicity, and Carl brought us that idea of synchronicity, meaning when things show up in our lives and we're seeing and they look like coincidences, they're not. They're awakening us to something that is within us. And every person has this. Now, you can choose to believe it's not you, because that's what a lot of us do. And that's what causes us to have difficulty as we move through our lives and also in our world, because we start to understand that everything is energy and we can understand and interpret energy in a different way. Then we see, oh, wait a minute, nothing is happening accidentally. I just didn't understand it before. And so I'm going to read you a message from this is July 16th today, and this in 2024, but this message is from 2020 because my guides like to do that because then if we see a message that is because we have to get let go of our illusion of time. I've put several videos up. If you go to my website, my YouTube channel, and you look at the videos for the last 2 weeks, you will see that I've been explaining a lot of this. I did one called The Science of Fulfillment because there is a science to us understanding how to live the best life. I just happen to understand it and create something to give people the ability to do that. But it took forever for me to figure that out and come to understand what it was. So that was my denial, which is what we all do because we're never done with the potential that we could possibly fulfill because it's ongoing. And so I put other videos up. I said one that self-love is a choice because that is the journey that we each move through is choosing, are we going to accept the next version of ourselves, and that is going into love, because we're looking for it everywhere else except not looking in the place that we could find it. I did something else. There's another article where I said I could become a billionaire and transform the world. That was about 2 years ago. You'll find that article too. And if you read that, it gives you a little more information because I knew that I had developed something that could give anybody the ability to transform their lives, to live the best life ever, to heal, to move through all their generational trauma, to do all of that and to come out really clear and move to a different dimension of understanding. But to get others to understand it or accept that was really challenging. It was challenging for me because it was like surprising. Could I have done this? You do the same thing. See, we all do that. But then when we start to accept ourselves, magical things begin to happen in our lives, and they would happen in our world as well. Yesterday, I said that I'm going to be giving a talk on planetary ascension because, see, we go through ascension in our lives individually, but the world does the same thing, which is what we're experiencing now. there's all the events of the last several years have not been accidental. And if you read the articles there, you'll say that several years ago I've been talking about those changes, but the changes happen because of you, meaning that we each will contribute to the evolution of not only just our lives, but the world, because again, everything is energy. And you are that important because you have that much energy within you. And so what you do in your life is going to affect what goes on for the rest of the world. And this is the message. You do not have any accidental experiences. We will also make another bold statement, and that is the challenges you have experienced in your life have arisen by believing you were. We have said those words to Roger for decades and to many of you for the last 15 years, but today Roger has decided to believe us. Hopefully, you will as well. Recently, Roger has felt an indescribable urgency to get on with his work, which he believes he is meant to accomplish, but hesitated. The urgency he feels is from us. Just as each of you has your guides urging you on, but you, as Roger, doubt any of it could be real. We know we will now attempt to use Roger to prove to you that your instincts were always valid. We are quite aware of your world's current condition and are using that impetus to aid you all. We awakened Roger at 3 a.m. this morning, and if you have heard us for a while, you know we do that to him when it is something of a critical nature. When Roger awakened, we guided him to his iPad and he opened it to a video of Napoleon Hill. Again, you know we have mentioned him and his mysterious connection to Roger. We are speaking in this manner to help you recognize the thought processes you each go through. And the only difference with Roger now is he has experienced more manifestations of our words in the physical realm, since he is more willing to trust and our information comes through more clearly. You possess the same ability if you could only believe it. Remember, we said Roger only did so today. Most of you require some sort of teacher to reassure you that what you might be doing in your lives is meaningful or even what you want to do. When you find those leaders who express words that resonate with you, you begin to believe in yourself. Roger recorded a video last night where he spoke of changing the title of his program and the many incarnations it had and questioning its effectiveness. Napoleon had done the same. Now Roger knows it is effective and he's witnessed the results. But the element he had not accepted is that it all came from us. You have those things as well. You have created something or believed you should, but did not trust that process. You have forgotten how you used to write essays in school. You made it all up, but somehow you neglected to allow yourself to hold that power in your life. We could go on, but we will leave you with this vital point. After watching the video for the first time, Roger decided to study Napoleon's Wikipedia page. There's a section where Napoleon speaks of his guides and teachers and the wisdom that came to him, which enabled him to create something that has lived on and changed many lives. Suddenly, Roger permitted himself to be himself. We are throwing that sentence in as we have said to him for decades, and now we are yelling it to all of you. It is only now that due to the conditions of your world that you might believe yourself, and we will continue to aid you as Roger's vision has grown. And that was 4 years ago. And it was true because I knew that the words that I had received, everything that I've done for the last 35 years, caused the results to show up, which was healing in every way that I can possibly tell you, which many people couldn't believe. And I also said that when I first started talking about this work, I knew that people couldn't believe me because it's something that happens where we have this cognitive dissonance, which I've also spoken of, meaning that we can be presented with something and being told this is where to go, but we will not believe it because we haven't experienced it. Because, see, to take that step, you have to be willing to jump into that unknown of who you are. And so, what I know is that everyone is born with something valuable that they're meant to bring to the world. And if you've ever come to a Wilhelm channeling session, you know that I can always, when I'm in that state, because it's a different dimension, I can answer any question. I can tell you anything in that state. Now, I wish I could do it for myself, but that's not how this works. But I can give it to others, which is why I've changed my channeling session, which I'm doing one on Sunday again for the full moon. But I've done it differently because I want to be able to be more personal and answer more questions when I'm in that state. So that's why it's a donation, and you can come in and answer, get more questions if you don't want to do private sessions. But then I'm changing things in my work because I haven't finished, as you can see from this. But what I have is something, as I said before, that is the most valuable thing that anyone could own, because what it does is it takes you to who you're supposed to be. It causes you to become confident, understand your purpose, and to live the life that you're meant to have. You will hear another video that was a long time ago where I put out that when I received this information and became made aware of it in 2021, I also was told that when I met someone on and I had a message for their birthday, it would resonate for them. And that was because, and many people have already experienced that. And I met with you and you sat there and I read you the message and you cried, but then you still probably didn't believe it. And that's what happens. We have this disbelief about who we are and what we could accomplish. I had it as well, which is why I'm saying this. But now I can no longer do that because, as I've said also, this is going to now go out to thousands and thousands, maybe a million people before the end of the year. So I'm stepping up to the plate, as we're all supposed to do. That's why the world is moving the way that it is, because it's waiting for us to own who we are and become happy and successful and prosperous. And I'm just creating a path for more of us to do that. And that's what this is. And nothing has ever happened accidentally for you. You were born to bring something to the world, and it's probably coming up for you now. And you will just decide if you're going to do it. And so I had to make that decision and stop worrying about what people believed, because it was so different how I could have lived this life. And I'm 73 and I've healed everything and I'm reverse aging. That is what happens when you become aligned with who you are. And so now the next part of my journey is finishing the work and writing my book, as I've said. But I want everyone to know that there are no limits. I put that video out the other day as well. So you can find all of these on my channel. And I'd love for you to listen to them because it will change your mind. And then I put another video out where I showed the trajectory of messages over 35 years that I received, and the one from February 19th, which you can find on my site now, anyadvicefortoday.com. And it's a little ebook. And I did an ebook yesterday as well, because consciousness develops over time. I just happened to tap into it and receive it so I could interpret it and give it to all of you. And that is the nature of my work. And the reason that the name of the program was talked about in that message is because that's when I decided to change it to your last development program, because I knew that with all the work that I've done and all the programs and all the mentoring for all these years, I knew that I could finish this and people would not need anything else, because see, you keep moving through and understanding more. So, people go back through my program and they just start again because they know they're in a different level of understanding and they can continue to go to and fulfill that potential, which is also why I know this is an ascension guide that can always be used for eternity. That's what it is. There are no accidents in your life. See you soon.